Okay, here's a look at some more old Masterpiece Autobots already in their alt mode. And you could see these are the Season 2 mini-bots. So for this episode, I'm not going to go over all of them, but this one I'm just going to focus specifically on Cosmos.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Okay, here's a look at Cosmos in alt mode, and this is ToyWorld's version of Cosmos. So now let's compare this with the animation model and see where the differences are. So first thing you could see is the color of the green is not quite accurate, and I actually know that for a fact because when I was doing my drawing of Cosmos, I did my reference study of the cartoon, a lot of the episodes, and trying to match the color green was a little difficult. So yeah, I just want to point out that's the first thing. And then the second thing, you could see the darker green trim on the bottom of the vehicle and on the top is missing. So they just completely forgot to paint that area because you could see the line, they sculpted it in, but they didn't paint it. And then some of the major differences, at least for me, is the front part of the chest, those red squares. You could see the red and gold squares. That's not accurate. It should actually be like a light gray and light blue color squares. But yeah, that's just little nitpicky things. And then it's definitely missing, I think, an important detail in the front part of the vehicle, that white stripe where the Autobot symbol goes. Yeah, that's needed, but that's really hard to do because it's there in alt mode, but not there in robot mode. And X-Transbots did a really great job solving that problem. And then the last critique I have is the jets on the back. You see those three thrusters? They actually made it backwards because the cartoon version, you could see it's larger on the inside and then it tapers down smaller as it goes out. Here on ToyWorld, you could see it's backwards. It's large on the outside and gets smaller as it goes in. So yeah, that might just be little minor details, but you know me, I'm very detail oriented, so I notice all these little details. But overall, considering that this is an old figure with under the old Masterpiece style, which was kind of like a stylized rendition of the figure, I think they did a nice job. And when I compare this with the Mastermind Creations version, well, let me first stop this and then get a better look at both of these. You could see Mastermind Creations also is the old Masterpiece style, but in that, you know, kind of like stylized rendition. Yeah, what was I saying? At least the color green, they matched the color green better. And they did add the darker trim, although it's off. It shouldn't be this dark gray color. It should be like a dark green color. And they did put the colors of the detail here a little bit more accurate, but it's a little small. It's kind of like legend size, and it's missing the yellow stripe here. Yeah, and of course it's missing that, you know, white stripe in alt mode. That X-Transbots did a good job, but they did add some nice details, like Bumblebee here, like from that scene in the cartoon where Bumblebee and Spike were in there with inside Cosmos. So I think it's nice. So, you know, trying to be objectively fair, these are older figures done in the old Masterpiece style, the stylized rendition. And, you know, they're both pretty good. But the major difference for me is the shape of the vehicles, the proportions off. You could see ToyWorld did a nice job capturing that dome shape here on the bottom and on the top. And here, Mastermind's Creations, they made it kind of like a donut shape. So that just kind of looks a little off. So in short, that's the main reason why I'm choosing to have ToyWorld in alt mode. And for robot mode, let's get rid of this. I am choosing to keep my X-Transbots because you could see this one looks really nice. This one's closer to the cartoon, you know, the aesthetics, and they did give you a lot of these accessories that I'll go over in a little bit here. But yeah, this figure is really nice, and there's so many people that have said that this is X-Transbots' best figure that they ever made. And so with such a bold statement like that, I actually had to, you know, investigate it and check it out, transform this figure, really give it a good critique. And in short, I can tell you that I kind of, well, I do agree. Compared to all of the other figures X-Transbots made, I do think that this is probably their best figure that they ever made. So you could see that this really does look a lot more like the cartoon. But with that said, I do have some critiques here and there to point out. So get your stickies, because that's actually the way things are really done in product design during a critique session. And they just note down all the little things that that they need to fix. So first of all, the color of the green here is a little dark in my opinion, because like I said, you know, I've done all my reference study of the colors, and it's a little hard to match, and I could tell you this is dark. So you could put here, maybe you can lighten up the green color, both the green and the dark green, because they're both a little dark. And another critique I would say is this head gimmick. I mean, it's cool that they gave you this gimmick where you could push the head down and pull down this door here and push this button to push the head up. But there's a couple of issues. One, you don't have the room to be able to get in here, so you need something to push this button, and that's the second issue. And I'm glad that happened, because now I can validate what I was saying. My concern with this is because they made that spring so tight. That's one of the issues that might happen, and I'm pretty sure that anyone that already has this may have happened to them as well. So put on here that if they want to keep this spring-loaded gimmick, that you need to adjust the spring so it's not so tight. But I will say something I do like. I mean, look at the kind of ball joint that they used. This is not your typical ball joint. They used a screw, so that way they can actually, by tightening it, they can actually make this a little bit bigger. So I think they did a good job. And you can see how you need to fix this. If this happens, you need to just put it in and push it down. And I suggest when you do this, maybe keep your finger up here and push this in. And oh man, it just happened again. So yeah, this is one issue with this figure, is the spring gimmick is a little too tight. And I could tell you, like I said many times, in product design, you want to keep, you don't want to have so many parts. And because they wanted to put that little gimmick in there, that's just more parts, the spring, and also the assembly, and all of that ends up costing more. So you can also put here on the sticky that maybe you should consider removing this whole spring gimmick. So that's my second criticism there. And other than that, I just have little nitpicky things, such as this yellow stripe is missing, which makes it tune accurate. And what I think is interesting is I saw the video from Toy Dojo when they got the sample piece. X-Transbots actually did have a yellow plastic piece. So you know that they were intending to use the yellow, which is cartoon accurate. It's just, I don't know why they changed their mind. So yeah, that's another critique. And then little minor things like here you could see the back. I mean, if they wanted to, they could have just made this like a little panel that you fold up so it's not sticking up. And since I'm back here, also these things, these, I think these are like cannons or something on the back. In the cartoon, they actually retract in and come out. So maybe they could have done something to have done the same thing, but just having it out like that, since it's in the back, doesn't really make much of a difference. But it is nice that they gave you that. So that's another critique you could put here on the stickers. And some positive things I'll tell you, like this yellow here that doesn't match the yellow here in the forearm. That actually bothered me, but when I looked very carefully, that is cartoon accurate. So I think they did a nice job there. And I want to point out, go back to this critique here, this joint for the arm. I guess it's okay that you use a pin, especially when this is a much thicker pin. You could see this is about maybe 6 or 7 millimeters thick, as opposed to your regular pins. I don't know, like here on this hinge, you could see it's maybe like 2 millimeters. So yeah, I mean, that's optional. And I only point that out because down here, what's interesting to see is that they actually used the screw, if I can get this to open up. You see that? They used the screw here. So, you know, this one's obviously better. And I just think they could have done the same thing up there. But that's okay because it's a thicker pin. So that's just another thing you could put. You can also put down here, you know, consider maybe using screws here in case the joint gets loose. You can tighten it up. But yeah, that's a positive. And I didn't finish pointing this out. This was really cool. They solved the problem of having this white detail in alt mode. So you have that Autobot symbol. And then in robot mode where you don't see it, they made it so you could fold it back. So that's a big plus. They did a really great job here on the feet. And then let's see, the other nice things that they gave you was these features where you can open this up, kind of like in that episode where they deactivated Cosmos. You know, you just activate one wire and you can call for help. So I think that's really cool. Just one little thing, I think they should have put a little, maybe made that groove a little deeper or added a little nub here to make it easier to get out. So that's something else you could put here on the sticky to maybe fix. And then this one too, it's not just the cover for this button, but this one also was in that episode where, I don't know her name, but yeah, that alien girl, she was calling for help. So yeah, that's really cool. So overall, I agree with a lot of people that this is really a great figure and really probably X-Transbots' best figure that they ever made. And the good thing is, if you're interested in this, X-Transbot is re-releasing this figure. And I'm just going to share some things. It's just my personal issues with X-Transbot is their poor customer service. You know, I followed all their Facebook instructions to get the replacement for the shoulders on the Springer. But email after email, they just kept saying, email me back later, and blah, blah, blah. And I never got it. So that's one major issue. But I say that because I also inquired about this. I said, your reissue, are you going to put the yellow plastic back on to make it more tune accurate? And are you going to lighten this green to be more tune accurate? Nothing, but you know, whether they do or don't, I guess it's okay because this is still a nice figure. And like all other X-Transbots figures, they do give you a lot of accessories, but fortunately this one, they didn't give you too many accessories. But what they did give you is really cool. They gave you this nice display stand that does open, so you could put something in there. In UFO mode, it could look like he's picking something up. So that's really nice. And if you don't like that, they give you the option of this kind of display stand, which is not really toleranced very well because you could see it's kind of wobbly, and you put some weight up here, it's not really stable. So this wasn't really toleranced very well. But this is a nice feature, this display stand. And then they did give you the optional transparent eyes, which you have to unscrew and put this on. And that's always nice how they give you a nice Phillips screwdriver to do that. And I kind of agree with like Bobby Skullface's critique here, always pointing out that he doesn't like how this makes this blue in the back, because you could see the head's all red here, which really looks nice. And in order to get this to work, you have to have that light going through, which sometimes could be challenging. So the painted eyes, I think, are actually much better. But the other accessories that are really cool is you get this insecticide thing. So that's really cool. And this just simply just tabs in on the thumb. And this is a little scary. I didn't really check this out, but yeah, this is not an articulated thumb, which maybe is good because, yeah, this one, I'm just trying to see if there's any thing that makes this prone to breakage. But yeah, there's, you could just see it's a nice hand. It doesn't seem like it's prone to breakage. So this is nice. You just simply plug it in. And this was also cool, although you saw how it fell out. Again, a tolerance issue. Doesn't really stay in all that well because this will easily come off. And as I say that, yeah, see. So, but this is nice. I mean, they do, X-Transbots always does all these cool things with these like nice accessories and stuff. And at least this one, they didn't overdo it like they did with the Sea Spray, which I'll get to when I go over the Sea Spray figure. But yeah, this is what I'm going to keep in robot mode because this, as of right now, this is a really nice masterpiece figure. Just my little nitpick. I just wish they would have put the yellow plastic back and maybe lightened the green. That would have been nice. So this is my masterpiece in robot mode, and for alt mode, it's the ToyWorld version of Cosmos.
The plants from Floron 3 seem to have hitched a ride. I'm losing control.
Why don't we blast them with the jets again?
I'm too low on power. I don't know how long I can maintain control.